Good morning and happy Sunday. What a beautiful day it is. When the sky was blue yesterday, I went, wow, I really appreciate the fact that it doesn't rain like it does in Seattle. So, good morning, everyone. Please stand and join us in our opening song, Holy, Holy Way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. All the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Reveal the path of the peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me do it.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Deborah Covington. It is my pleasure and my honor to be the host today. If you're joining us live, welcome, and we're pleased to have you with us, as well as everyone here in person. Today, I'm going to give you a bit of an explanation of who we are and what you can expect to experience in this wonderful service. If we have any newcomers, which I don't see that we do, Bradley, it's wonderful to see you back with us again, though. Um, For the rest of you that have been here before, thank you for your constant care and and always being here for us as well too. Is there, I'm sorry, Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths of truth. So today, our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with tools for living our best possible lives. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that you are an eternal being now on the path of endless unfoldment, never less, but always more yourself. Let those words just sit with you for a moment. Very powerful. So here's a bit of what you can expect today. Fran Peck is the practitioner of the day, and she's going to be giving us our evocation and also our reading. That will be followed by our new congregant care chant, The World. Most of you here know it. If you have not heard it on live, you'll get a taste of it today. And as you listen and sing the words, I encourage you to really take them to your heart and feel them, experience them, because they're very powerful. LeeLee Robert will be leading us in that chant today. She is also our musical inspiration, so she will be bringing us our musical inspirations today. After the chant, our gong master, Reverend Christopher Guru Karam Gallagher, will bring us a wonderful gong wash. There'll be a few minutes of silence after the gong wash, and then Fran will be back with us with the inspirational reading of the day. And so let me welcome up. Oh, also, I want to announce that we do High Watch here. And Reverend Mary Jane Hyde is holding High Watch for us, which means that she's sitting in that physical, meditative vibration of bringing forth the best for everything for us to receive today in our service. And so let me welcome up Fran right now with our evocation.
Thank you. So let's just take a breath and turn within. Just being fully present right here, right now. Just breathing into the awareness that there is only one power, one presence, one divine energy. And that energy is love, peace, joy, harmony. And that life, that energy is my life. That life animates me, lives, moves, and has its being in, through, and expresses uniquely as me, and uniquely as individually as each and every person here. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word of blessing for this time, for this service. I bless this congregation. I bless Reverend Dr. Sherry and her message, knowing that it is divinely inspired. I bless each and every person involved in this service. And I just bless teachers of truth everywhere, and bless anywhere in the world where anything unlike peace and love seem to be experienced. For I know that there is only one, there is only peace, and there is only love. And so just in profound gratitude and thanksgiving for this spiritual truth, for this knowing, and for these principles and how they operate in my life, I release my word into the law, knowing that it is already done. It is already made manifest. And I say, thank you, God. And so it is.
Please join in the world. The world is a place of great love for us.
The world is a great, great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. World am a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. You are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. We are a place of great peace. We are a place of great peace.
Our reading this morning is Place No Limit on Principle from Science of Mind textbook, page 188. Know your own mind. Train yourself to think what you wish to think, be what you wish to be, feel what you wish to feel, and place no limit on principle. The words which you speak would be just as powerful as the words which Jesus spoke if you knew your word was the law whereunto it was sent. But you must know this within and not merely accept it with your intellect. If you have reached a point where the inner consciousness believes, then your word is simply an announcement of reality. Know, without a shadow of a doubt, that as a result of your treatment, some action takes place in infinite mind. Infinite mind is the actor, and you are the announcer. If you have a vague, subtle, unconscious fear, be quiet and ask yourself, who am I? What am I? Who is speaking? What is my life? In this manner, think right back to principle until your thought becomes perfectly clear again. Such is the power of right thinking that it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It answers every question, solves all problems, is the solution to every difficulty. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in glory. It is the absolute with which you are dealing. All there really is God.
I'm excited to do this song for you. I never know if a song is going to be written for you. I always like to think I can do it, but you never know because it comes from the source. But this one came so quickly, it was almost like I was taking dictation. When I honestly, when I heard what the theme was, when I read it, who do you think you are? It just had an immediate rhythm to it. So if anyone asks you, who do you think you are? Say this. I am who I think I am. I am who I think I am. If anyone asks you, who do you think you are? Say, I am who I think I am. If I can dream it, I can redeem it. I am who I think I am. It's the call of authenticity. That's the sweet voice that you hear. It's a sign of synchronicity, 'cause creation is always near. Don't let anyone else define who you are. Just listen to your voice in your heart. If anyone asks, who do you think you are? Honey, tell them you are who you think you are. You are who you think you are. If anyone asks you, who do you think you are? You are who you think you are. If you can dream it, you can redeem it. You are who you think you are. You have a dream that follows you and whispers in your ear like a song that's swinging, singing sweet and true. No matter whatever else you hear, Spirit has a path and a plan for you. You have a gift, so share it. If anyone asks you, who do you think you are? Ooh, honey, tell them We are who we think we are. We are who we think we are. If anyone asks, who do we think we are? Yeah, we are who we think we are. If you can dream it, you can redeem it. You are who you think you are. I am who I think I am. We are who we think we are.
Thank you so much, LeeLee Robert. Let's give her a hand again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. Let's take a deep breath together. Yeah, and let's take another deep breath together. You know, going into this new year, 2023, our theme for the year is Begin Again, Begin Again, Begin Again. And that sounds really easy, but many people aren't willing to do that. But that's what we're always doing. That's what we're always called to do, begin again. So rather than going down the rabbit hole of regrets about what we didn't do or what we wish we had done or what we should have done, I just invite you to begin again. And that's what we're doing here in this community. We're beginning again. We don't know yet what our community looks like. But we are still discovering that as we continue with our in-person services, because we've been apart for so long, and coming back together, we're discovering what we look like, who we are, and we're beginning again. And that is exciting. That is an opportunity. That is a possibility. And so that's what we have to keep in mind as we go through this time, not only in this community, but in our own lives. We have to begin again because things are always happening to upset our plans. And speaking of which, the year started out with a bang. I was in California, headed back here for our New Year's Day service when Southwest Airlines decided to cancel the flights. And I can remember looking at my app on my phone for Southwest Airlines and my reservation, and it had a big red banner across the top that said canceled. And so I just looked at it and blinked, thinking if I blinked, it would just go away. It didn't. And so I shut down the app and I did something else. And later on, I came back to it and it said canceled, flight canceled. And I shut it down again. And so the next day I said to my daughter, you know, every time I look at this app, it says that my flight is canceled. She said, let me see it. And she looked at it, she said, that's because your flight is canceled. So that's called denial. Couldn't be canceled, I gotta be back. And so then I started trying to find another flight. And the only one flight that I could find on another airline was $4,093 for a one-way flight to Phoenix. So that wasn't gonna happen. So then the scurrying started. Okay, what do we do now? Because I can't get back until either late Saturday night, New Year's Eve, or Monday morning. So I opted to come back on Monday morning. And I give such great thanks to Reverend Jeanette Freeman for stepping up and saying yes and coming in last week and doing such a great job. And of course, I give tremendous thanks to the Sunday service team who just did what they do best. Great, great, great work. Great, great, great service. Great, great, great teamwork. And I was right there with them. We were going through changing the service and changing the order of service and shifting things around and getting ready for Sunday morning. And then we were supposed to have a new music director last week who was starting last Sunday. And at 4:00 in the morning, Sunday morning, I got a text from him saying, I'm headed to Ohio. I can't come. Something has come up with my family. let's take a breath. So by 5 o'clock in the morning, I was on the phone with Reverend Jeanette. And I think by 5:30, I was on the phone with Jorge and Nicole. And by 6 o'clock, I was on the phone with Fran. And we were figuring out, okay, what happens with this service now that we don't have a music director now, and having to change everything. That's what beginning again is all about in each and every moment. Because if we are open and available and anchored in spirit, spirit will guide us to the next step. We'll know what the next step is. We'll know what the next thing is to do. We'll know how to begin again. If we just are open and just say, okay, God, here we are. And then trust and allow spirit to show us how to begin again. So that's how we began our new year. And so I really encourage you to be open and to be willing to begin again each and every moment of each and every day, because we always have that opportunity. My mother used to say, and you've heard me say this before, my mother used to say all the time that so long as there's breath in your body, you can start over. You're never too old. You're never too anything unless you're just too unwilling to do it. But she always says, so long as there's breath in your body, you can do something different. So long as there's breath in your body, you can start all over again. And so long as there's breath in our bodies, so long as there's breath in this community, so long as there's that willingness to start over, we can begin again. And so that's what we are going to be looking at throughout this year, beginning again in so many ways, all the different ways that we can do that. The theme for the month is the call of authenticity. The call of authenticity. The call of authenticity, being real, being true, being authentic. And that's what we are called to do always, to be yourself. To be yourself. That's the call of authenticity to each of us, to be yourself. Be yourself. Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everybody else is already taken. Be yourself, everybody else is already taken. So be yourself. Who are you? Be yourself. Dare to be who you are. Dare to be who you are according to your own personality, according to your own values, according to your own dreams, according to your own desires, according to who you are. Dare to be that. Dare to be yourself, no matter what anybody else says, no matter what anybody else thinks, no matter how other people may react to it. So long as you're being yourself and not being yourself all over other people. Do you know what I mean? We can't be ourselves all over somebody else, but standing in your own power, standing in your own being, standing in who you are, and being yourself, and being anchored in who you are, because you know who you are. Then when we can be ourselves from that place, when we can be ourselves from that place of certitude, that place of certitude, of being clear about who we are, being clear about being the very best that we can be. Being authentic means to be the very best that you can be, and to recognize who you are and what gifts you have, what talents you have, and then having the confidence and the courage to take that out into the world, to share that with the world. That's what being authentic is all about. That's what being authentic is all about. Even though, as I said, somebody's always going to try to make you be something else. Somebody's always going to try to convince you that you should be another way, that other than what you are. I remember that as a kid, my father used to always ask me, why can't you be like other girls? I was his favorite child. He loved me dearly, but he was so exasperated by me. And he always asked me, why can't you just be like other girls? Your life is going to be so hard because you always are so radical. Radical, me? But he was always saying to me, and then he would take me on these long drives. And anytime he said, let's go for a ride, it was like, oh, not the ride, because I knew that in the ride there was going to be the conversation. Why can't you be like other girls? Why do you have to, whatever it was I was making a decision about, why do you have to be that way? But I wasn't like other girls. even though throughout my throughout my life with him, he was constantly asking that question. When it was time for me to get married, I didn't want to change my name. And I told him I wasn't going to change my name. And he said, let's go for a ride. I was like, oh no, not the ride. And then he went through the, why can't you be like other girls? Women always change their names. I'm like, nope, he can change his name. Why don't men, who says I have to change my name? So anyway, that's why my middle initial is so important to me, because it's my maiden name. And I gave up my name to take on the McCreary name, which is fine. But my father had a real problem with that. He wanted me to be a different way, and I wasn't a different way. I was being myself. I was being who I am. Fast forward, when my daughter was born, when my daughter started to grow up, she constantly said, why can't you be like other moms? Why do you have to be so weird? Why, why do you have to be that way? All my friends say, you talk like a book. You sound like a book. You don't talk like other mothers. I am who I am. I am who I am. And I don't know how other mothers talk, but this is the way I talk. This is the way I sound. This is the way I think. But oh my goodness, over the years, after she started to really grow up and get to be an adult and all, she thanks me almost on a daily basis for being who I am, for having been who I am throughout her life, and having guided her the way that I did according to who I am throughout her life. But you know, Emerson says, to be yourself when the world is constantly trying to get you to be something else is the greatest accomplishment. To be yourself when the world is constantly trying to get you to be something else is the greatest accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. And the world is constantly trying to get us to be something else. And so now I just invite you to move into today's topic. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? I love the way LeeLee says that. Who do you think you are? Can't you remember? I don't know if you do or not, but can you hear mothers saying that to kids, to teenagers particularly? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And that question was always asked with, how dare you? That's the energy of that, who do you think you are? But that's not the energy with which I'm asking that question of you today. Who do you think you are? And as LeeLee said, I am who I think I am. When we focus on that I am, that's a whole different answer that comes up when we focus on the I am, because the I am of us is who we truly are. The I am of us is who we truly are. But who do you think you are? Who do you today think you are? And if you don't know the answer to that question, look around. Look at your life. Look at your experiences. Look at your choices. Look at your decisions. Because we make all those things according to who we think we are. If we think that we're sick, if we think that we're healthy, if we think that we're poor, if we think that we're wealthy, if we think that we're not enough, if we think that we're better than, whatever the case may be, whatever we think we are, we make choices and decisions to confirm that. We choose situations and circumstances to confirm who we think we are. If I think I'm sick, then I'm going to act a certain way. I'm going to make choices a certain way. I'm going to make certain choices. I'm going to have certain experiences. I'm going to bring certain people into my experience, into my life, certain circumstances and situations into my life. If I think that I'm not enough, then I'm always going to be making decisions and choices to confirm that I'm not enough, because that's what I think. That's who I think I am. And so I'm inviting you right now, today, to really consider, who do you think you are? Look at the choices that you're making. Look at the choices that you have made in your life and that have confirmed whatever it is you think about yourself, about who you are. Look at the choices that you continue to make. And then look at whether or not you're willing to change that. Are you willing to change who you think you are? Are you willing to give up that false identity? You know, the greatest forms of identity theft, the greatest forms of identity theft are to be defined by what somebody else thinks or who somebody else thinks we are, or by situations and circumstances. If we allow situations and circumstances to define who we are, if we allow other people to define who we are, that's identity theft. Think about it. That's identity theft, and the greatest form, because somebody else has defined who you are. And you know what? A lot of things about who we think we are happen to us in childhood. Either a parent or a teacher or society or something happens to make us think, to make us identify in a certain way. And we live that out throughout our lives. But once we become aware of who we are, once we become aware of what we would like our lives to be, once we become aware of our connection to the all that is, once we become aware that there's something greater than all this that we see, when we become aware that there's something more, when we become aware that there's so much more for each one of us, when we become aware that there's a power for good in the universe, that there's a power for good, and that there's a power for good that we can use, when we become aware of that, then we become aware of our own power. Because God has already identified us. God has already identified us with this wholeness. God has already identified us with its perfection. God has already identified us with its intelligence. God has already identified us with this allness and this fullness that is available to each one of us, because we are one with God, because God is all there is. And so when we recognize that truth, and when we anchor into that truth, no matter what somebody else says to identify us, no matter what somebody else may call us, no matter what someone else may think about us, we're not defined by what somebody else thinks of us. That's on them. If that's what you think of me, Tara Cole Whittaker wrote a book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business. What you think of me is none of my business. It really isn't. What you think of me is your business. It's what I think of myself that's important. It's what you think of yourself that's important. And what we want to do is to recognize that we're all in this life together. And because we're all in this life together, we want to live our lives for the highest and best for everyone. We want to live our lives in a way that we can all benefit. We want to live our lives in a way that is from a place of oneness, a place of unity, a place of honor, a place of love, a place of spirit. A place of spirit. That's how we want to live our lives. And when we live our lives that way, then we are living our lives from a place of power, and we're living our lives from a place of truth, and we know who we are. We know who we are. We know who we are. This takes time. It takes self-awareness. It takes a willingness to change. It takes a willingness to admit our mistakes. It takes a willingness to grow. It takes a willingness to expand. It takes a willingness to stand in our own power and to know that it's okay. It takes a willingness to release and let go of certain situations and circumstances and people, places and things. It takes a willingness to let sometimes family go and close friends who are like family. It takes a willingness to let go and to open up and to be available to guidance and direction. It takes trust to stand in the knowing of who we really are. So I'm inviting you today to really anchor into that question, who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? And if you can't get to an answer that way, who have I thought in the past that I am? Looking around, who have I thought I am? Who have I thought I am? That sounds a little wrong, but you know what I mean. Who have I been thinking that I am? Who have I been thinking that I am? Who am I? Who am I? Who do I think I am? Who do I act like I am? Who do I live like I am? Think about it. Who do you live like you are? Who do you act like you are? Who do you think like you are? Who do you believe that you are? All of these are questions, and as you've noticed since we've been back in person, particularly, I've had a lot of questions for us. A lot of questions, because that's what self-reflection is all about, and that's how we grow. It's through self-reflection, being willing to really look at ourselves, be willing to really listen to ourselves, be willing to really be honest with ourselves. That's what being authentic is all about. Being honest with ourselves. And know when we're putting up a front. Know when we are dealing from a place of fear. Know when we're dealing from a place of competition. Know when we're dealing from a place of comparison. Know when we're dealing from a place of separation. And then being willing to do something about it. Rather than blaming the other person, being willing to look at us. Rather than blaming the other person, being willing to clean up our side of the street, so to speak. Being willing to be all that we were created to be. And when we recognize who we are, then be willing to live that full out. Being willing to live that full out. And so I'm asking you, are you willing to do that today? Are you willing to start today? Because it doesn't happen all at once, life doesn't happen all at once. It just, it happens gradually. It happens from us doing things to help us grow, to help us become more and more authentic, to help us to just anchor deeper into who we are, anchor deeper into discovering who we are, and being willing to change when we recognize that that's not the truth about me. That's not the truth of who I am. I'm willing to grow through this issue. I'm willing to grow through this. I'm willing to change this. I'm willing to let this go. I'm willing to embrace something different. I'm willing to embrace love. I'm willing to embrace cooperation. I'm willing to embrace my own power and to stand in my power. Not to exercise it all over somebody else, but being willing to stand in my power, recognizing that we can't give our power away. We can fail to exercise our power. We can refuse to exercise our power, but we can't give our power away. We just don't exercise it, and then other people exercise their power all over us. Is that who we want to be? Is that who you really are? Is that how you want to be in the world? Is that how you want to show up in the world? These are all questions for us to really anchor into as we go through this time, as we go through this new year, as we go through this new day, as we go through this new way, as we begin again. As we begin again. Just really think about it. As we begin again, how will we live this year? How will we live? Because we have to live it one day at a time. We have to live it one day at a time. We're not going to jump from January to December, do leapfrog, even though by the time you get to December, it'll seem like that's what you did. But we're gonna live it one day at a time. And that means that each day, when we fall short, we have the opportunity to begin again. If we didn't show up authentically in each moment of each day, we have a chance at the end of the day to self-reflect. And as we self-reflect, we have the opportunity to make a commitment to do it differently moving forward, to say it differently moving forward, to not say it at all moving forward. We have an opportunity to change every moment of every day. But it takes us going deeper into, as you know, that I have to get into a spiritual practice. We have to do our spiritual practice. We have to start journaling. If you don't journal now, journaling opens our minds up, opens us up in a way that sometimes other things don't. Because once you start doing free-form journaling, you open up and things come out. Things come up, all the things that are buried underneath sometimes starts to come forth, and you're able to write those down and really take a look at those. Creating affirmations and using affirmations, because we're always using affirmations. We're always affirming something, whether it's true or not. We're always. And the affirmations that we are constantly using become the truth for us. The things that we say about ourselves become the truth for us. The thoughts that we have about ourselves become the truth for us. That becomes who we are. That becomes who we are. When we say to ourselves, I don't know enough. I don't have enough education. I know too much. I'm not good enough. I'm too poor. I'm too sick. All those things identify us. And when we buy into that, then that's who we are, a sickly being. That's who we are. Do you want to be a sickly being? Well, then stop saying that you are. Stop thinking that you are. Stop acting like you are. Do you want to be a poor being? Then stop acting like you are. Stop believing that you are. Stand in the truth that you know, that you are made in the image and likeness and out of pure spirit itself, that everything that God has is ours, that we are one with the all that is, and that so to the degree that we are aligned with it and open to it, then it can reveal itself and its wholeness in and through and as each one of us. It can reveal itself in and through and as each one of us according to our own uniqueness. That is amazing. That is amazing. And that's who we are. And so I'm inviting you, ask yourself, who do I think I am? I love that song. Who do I think I am? I am who I think I am. And that's the truth. I am who I think I am. And if I'm looking around at what I am, and that tells me what I think I am and who I think I am, then I might want to change who I think I am. And so that's what I'm inviting you to do as we start this new year, as we move more, as I said, into authenticity, as we begin again. Dare to stand in the truth of who you are. Dare to be all that you were created to be. Dare to live your life full out. Dare. I dare you. I dare you to know who you are and then to live your life like you know who you are. It's never too late. You can start right now. You can begin again right now to be yourself and to be all that you were created to be and to know who you are each and every moment of each and every day. And so that's what I'm inviting us all to do. That's what I'm inviting us all to do. Give up that mistaken identity. Give up that false identity. Answer only to who you are, not being defined by somebody else. When I said that, I'm reminded of my granddogs, Yogi and Sweet Pea. They used to go to the vet, and Yogi wore a red collar and Sweet Pea wore a black collar, and not the vet, the groomer. And when they go to the groomer, every time they came back, the groomer would have put on the wrong collar on each one. And so sometimes they would be sleeping on the floor, and I'd see Yogi with the black collar on, and I'd be yelling at him. And I would call him Sweet Pea because he had the black collar on, and he wouldn't move. I'd call him, and he wouldn't look up. And I'd yell and say, "Don't you hear me calling you?" And he never looked up. And then I'd go around and look in his face. I could tell the difference in them, two little Maltese they were. And I could tell the difference in them, and he wouldn't look up. It's because he wasn't who I was talking to was now Yogi. That was Sweet Pea. But Sweet Pea never answered when I called Yogi. Yogi never answered when I called Sweet Pea. That's because they knew who they were. Think about it with your own pets. They know who they are. If you call them by the wrong name, they're not going to respond. You can yell at them. You can threaten them. You can throw something at them. You can do anything. If you don't call them by their true names, they don't respond because that's not who they are. Why can't we be that way? If someone doesn't call you by your true name, if someone doesn't honor who you are, if someone who doesn't recognize who you are, and we answer to that, then we are living under a mistaken identity. We're living under mistaken identity. We're living under mistaken identity, and that's not what we want to do. We want to live under our own true identity. We know who we are. And when we know who we aren't going to answer to anything else. We aren't going to answer to anything else when we know who we are. We aren't going to answer to any other name when we know who we are. And so I'm inviting you today to know who you are. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, who do I think I am? And then look around at your life. Look around at your choices. Look around at your decisions. Look around at your experiences and change them if you need to. Because you can say, you know what, this is not who I am. This is not how I want to live. This is not how I want to be in the world. This is what we want to do. So I invite you. I invite you. I invite you to live from a place of wholeness. Because when we're not living from a place of wholeness, we're living from a place of brokenness. And broken is not who we are. Broken is not who we are. Wholeness is who we are. Wholeness is who we are. Wholeness is who you are. Stand in that. Be that. Let's take a breath and just turn within for prayer. And so just recognizing that one power, that one presence, that one life, that one mind, that one wholeness that is, that one that I choose to call God, that one that is my very life, that one that is the life of each of us here this day, that one that is the only power, the only presence, the only mind, the only being is God. And so just being in that place of oneness with that being that is God, that being that is the source of my being, I speak the word for each of us this day. Just speaking a word of truth, the truth of who we are, speaking a word of wholeness. The wholeness is that is the truth of who we are. And as I speak this word, I know that each of us is releasing and letting go of those things that don't serve, those things that are not the truth of our being. Letting go of the fear and the doubt and the anger and the resentment and the blame and the judgment and the illness and all the things that are unlike wholeness. We let all that go. And we create a space for the wholeness that is God to reveal itself in and through and as our very lives. And as we do this, all things are made new. Because we stand in the knowing of who we truly are. That we are whole, that we are perfect, that we are complete just as we are. And we allow that to be revealed in and through and as our lives. And so I speak a word of blessing for anyone in need of prayer this day, anyone who is experiencing loss, anyone who is experiencing less than lack of any kind. I speak a word for them, just knowing that the allness and the fullness of God is right where they are, blessing and keeping them. That in the midst of every circumstance and situation, God is blessing and keeping each of us. As I open the circle of prayer, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud. You may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is in the midst of everything, every situation, every circumstance, every event. God is in the midst. God is in the midst, and all indeed is well. Healing is happening everywhere. This word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that God is. That's all we ever need to know, that God is. And to be open to that isness being revealed in and through and as each one of us. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the word spoken here this day. Thank you for the perfect manifestation of this word that's spoken here today. Thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you, Infinite Presence. I know that all is well, for I know that all is God. And so it is.
When I was a girl each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. he would read the holy word, communion with the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track. 'Cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better miracle is anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best. It barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath. I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there. Heaven's second rate hand me down. Now I walk it with a reverent air. 'Cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood. I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture bird. Made me wanna bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, LeeLee. What a beautiful song. What a beautiful message. Very powerful. Thank you, Reverend Sherry. Now is the time that we participate in our divine sacred giving. This is the time that we experience the law of giving and receiving and the energy of it. For those of you online, we have created ways for you to participate in giving. In Facebook, you'll see a link there in the comments, and in YouTube as well too. On our website, there's a button for donating. Also, we have a PayPal account that you can give through PayPal as well too. So there's all sorts of ways for you to give of generosity, and we truly appreciate everything that you've given, everything that you will give. And for those of you in person here, we have ushers who are going to come now to gather together your giving. In the meantime, let's sing I Trust in God.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
As the ushers move forward, we'll say our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And now I would like to invite Nicole to come up for our announcements.
My number one fan. Thank you, Charles. Oh, good morning, everybody. Okay. Announcements. We'll start with the ways that we can do sacred practice. Midday meditation, Monday through Friday at noon on Facebook and YouTube Live. You can join us there. And if you can't be with us at noon live, you can go back and watch it anytime. We have lots of them there. And don't forget Monday practice with Reverend Jorge to get your weekly assignment to practice throughout the week. He comes up and, well, he doesn't come up with it. He is inspired by the talk and by spirit every single week to come up with a practice for the week to take the Sunday lessons throughout and to really anchor them into your being. So your mission, should you accept it, is to show up at 6:30 Facebook or YouTube Live. Our community care and connection with Reverend Sherry is every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. And this week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. And this is a great time to spend with Reverend Sherry. I mean, and because of this, even when we are able to do fellowship and stuff, it just goes so much deeper on Tuesday nights. So you can really get to know each other on a very intimate level. So 6:30 p.m. in Zoom on Tuesdays. And this is it. Today is the Vision Board Workshop with Reverend Mary Jane Hyde at 11:45. So after service, go ahead and go to your bathroom, go to Tatum's Grill, grab some food, bring it in here. That'll give us some time to tear down and set up. But then you can do the Vision Board Workshop with Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. The Ernest Holmes book study starts back this Saturday with the Holmes Reader on Practical Wisdom. This is a 3-week drop-in group. So get your copy from Science of Mind Archives today, or, it doesn't have to be today, before Saturday, and read it through the first part of it. This is in Zoom on Saturdays, starting January 14th from 10 a.m. to noon. And Reverend Sherry is leading our monthly community visioning on Sunday, January 15th at 11:30 a.m. So after service, we'll have that done in person. It's our second one in person. It's so much fun to be in person again, to be able to vision together. So you're invited and encouraged to be a part of this sacred practice to catch God's vision for Creative Living Fellowship. And remember that God's vision for CLF can only be expressed through us. So join us for this very special community event. I'm actually really impressed that I'm reading this and sticking with that. I can multitask after COVID. After service, we have our practitioners available to pray with you. That's Mary Jane Hyde and Fran Peck. So go ahead and grab them if you are in need of prayer and let them give you the gift of praying for you. And then also, if you're interested in fellowship with Reverend Sherry, she will be at, are you going to do that or are you going to do the vision board workshop? Okay, so after the workshop, well, I guess we'll fellowship during the workshop. Grab your food, come in here, fellowship then. And links and information for all of our events can be found on our website, in Facebook, or in your newsletter. Oh, yes, Janet.
I just want to say, if you forgot about the vision board, you didn't know about it, you wanted to do it, I have 2 extra. I bought yesterday Michael's 2 extra.
Oh, so we got extra poster boards if you're feeling spontaneous. Yeah. And also I brought a couple of calendars with some interesting images for you. All right, thank you. That's it. Reverend Sherry.
Thank you, Nicole. I brought supplies. So I have glue sticks and I have scissors and I have all kinds of stuff. I forgot to bring a poster board though for myself. So I'm glad you remembered, Janet. Thank you very, very much. Let's take a breath together. Thank you, LeeLee Robert, for being here. We really, really appreciate it. We love having you here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to use the treatment for supply. We aren't using it in service again yet, but continue to use it. Page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. That's our community prayer, and it really, 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 really works. So I encourage you to make that a regular part of your spiritual practice every day, reading the treatment for supply, because it really does work. And it's the most comprehensive, one of the most comprehensive Ernest Holmes treatments that I have found. And also continuing to connect with each other, connecting with those of us who are in the room and connecting with people who are not here, because there were many, many people who complained that we were not back in person and who've not been here, and for one reason or another. And that's not a criticism, that's just a fact. And maybe connecting with people just to say, hi, how are you? We're not trying to convince them to come. We're just connecting because they're still a part of our community until they choose not to be. So I invite you to continue to do that. And I think that's all. Was there something else I was supposed to say? Okay, we have a closing affirmation, but this time I want you to repeat after me. And then we'll get, this is our closing affirmation. I dare to know who I am.
I dare to know who I am.
I think like I know who I am.
I think like I know who I am.
I speak like I know who I am.
I speak like I know who I am.
I act like I know who I am.
I act like I know who
I live like I know who I am.
I live like I know who I am.
As a result, something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
As a result, something wonderful is happening in my life.
I know it.
I know it.
I sense it.
I sense it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
And I thank God for it.
I thank God for it.
And so it is.
So it is.
Let's stand now and have our closing song, our release, and let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. with my faith,